Good afternoon. I must repeat what I said this morning about the use of mobile devices. They may be used to report what you hear in the hearing room, but only after 10 minutes have elapsed since the event that you're reporting. They may not be used for photography or recording. Mr. Barr.
Thank you, sir. Sarah's evidence to the inquiry is that when she found out that you had started an intimate relationship with Ellie, Sarah, gave up hope that her relationship with you would ever rekindle. She describes herself as totally devastated by that news. It evinced in her feelings of rejection, and it affected negatively her self-esteem. Did you consider, when initiating your sexual relationship with Ellie, how Sarah might feel about it?
No.
If you had addressed your mind to that topic, it was entirely foreseeable, wasn't it, that she would be upset?
Yes.
Particularly given the explanation that you had provided for stopping the sexual relationship with her.
Yes.
She moved abroad. You didn't ever visit her there, did you?
No.
But you did keep in touch with one another by email.
Yes, I think so.
There came a point, didn't there, when she asked you about the discrepancy between the reason you had given her for ending the sexual relationship with her and the fact that you had commenced a sexual relationship with Ellie. Is that right?
Yeah, I don't recall the conversation particularly, but yes, I'm sure it is.
You didn't reply to that email.
Okay.
And that was the end of your electronic correspondence.
Okay, accept that.
Why didn't you reply?
I can only assume I didn't have a good reply.
Reality being there was nothing you could say.
Exactly.
All too awkward.
Both.
Sarah describes an incident which she now thinks probably occurred in October 2001, when you learned that Sarah was seeing another man. Do you recall that?
No.
Do you deny so learning?
No.
Her recollection is you asked her why she had shared a room in Goa with her in the light of this man. In other words, you were effectively questioning her morals. Do you dispute doing so?
I don't want to dispute anything in her statement. I certainly don't remember doing so, and I can't imagine why I would have done.
Ironic in the circumstances, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
To do that.
Yeah, yeah.
Did you consider the impact on her?
So I can't remember the conversation at all.
And her intimate life was none of your business?
Correct.
Could we have up, please, MPS 0719722? Could we have page 10, paragraph 4.2.2? This is a management document arising from investigations into you further down the line. This is call analysis. I'm interested in the table below the text, please. If you look at the row which under the subscriber column look for the name Sarah. Do you have that?
Mm-hmm.
48 calls described as the ex-girlfriend of L1. Sarah was never in a relationship with L1. Is that right?
I can't remember ever being in a relationship with L1.
This information recorded here is wrong. Did you mislead your managers as to who Sarah was the ex-girlfriend of?
I can't remember doing so, but it wasn't L1.
It wasn't?
It wasn't L1. It was a different cipher.
Might it have been that you were deliberately trying to misrepresent events to throw managers off the scent of your own misconduct?
Entirely possible.
Can we take that down now, please? I don't want you to go into any details of the precise locations, but it's right, isn't it, that Sarah lived near your ex-wife and children?
Reasonably close, yes.
And you knew that at the time you started the sexual relationship with Sarah?
Yes.
That geographical proximity gave rise to a risk that you might be recognised in your real life
It did.
by those who you were reporting on. Can we be clear? There's no suggestion, is there, that Sarah was in any way a physical threat to you, your wife, or your children, is there?
No, none whatsoever.
The risk was of recognition,
And yeah,
compromising the operation.
recognition and that information being passed on, but it was never a threat from her.
Why did you commence a sexual relationship with Sarah, given this risk?
Inherent stupidity.
Putting your own sexual gratification ahead even of basic security.
Yes.
One consequence of that is we see reference in managerial documents to protecting you because of this geographical proximity. In other words, Sarah becomes the focus of more management attention, doesn't she?
Yes, that's fair.
Entirely because of your conduct.
Entirely.
Could we have up, please, MPS -302555? This is a very brief report. Following the demise of his beloved Citroën BX, L1 has now purchased Sarah's vehicle, a light blue Ford Escort registration, and then we've redacted the registration number. This is dated the 7th of September 1999. So this is when you were in a relationship with Sarah, isn't it?
I can't remember the exact dates, but if you say so, I'm prepared to accept that, yeah.
And this information is false, isn't it? Because Sarah didn't sell her vehicle in this way.
I don't remember the report, but you would surprise me with that if it's written down there.
Can we take that down now, please? In your witness statement, you've expressed regret to the Crosslands, but not to Sarah. Now, I appreciate that you have made an apology earlier today. Why didn't you do so in more than a perfunctory way in your witness statement to the inquiry?
I think primarily because I saw it, I was writing a statement to the inquiry, not to her.
Is it right that you offered to meet Sarah?
When? Sorry.
Well, Sarah sets out in her statement, we can pull it up if needs be, at paragraph 4.20. We'll get the reference in a moment. Can you recall ever offering to meet Sarah?
This is post-deployment?
Yes.
No.
Come back to that once we've got the reference. In the meantime, I'd like to return to the Croydon Hunt saboteurs and their activities, and in particular, the Shamrock Farm campaign. Could we have up, please, first of all, from Volume 4, sir, C44, MPS-301668. Very short report, 12th of January 1999. Animal rights activists have begun following workers from Shamrock Farm to their home addresses. Several of the staff have already had their homes identified. When you became involved with the Croydon Hunt saboteurs, was the Shamrock Farm campaign already ongoing, or did it start during your time?
I can't remember. There were some campaigns underway. I can't remember when this particular one started.
Can you help us with the nature of the protesting that was used to protest against activities at Shamrock Farm?
I think there were a variety of tactics. There were certainly some larger public, if you like, demonstrations at or near the farm.
Did you attend any of those demonstrations?
Yep.
And can you help us by giving us a flavour of how orderly or disorderly they might have been?
I think for the most part, they were fairly orderly. They were fairly well, if not heavily, policed. So I'm thinking I'm imagining the right location here, and therefore how it was done. But yeah, the police could put demonstrators in a particular area and control them while they were actually at the demonstration.
Another tactic that was used, according to your reporting, was home visits.
Yep.
Can we take this document down now and have up, please, from File 4, Tab C60, sir, 0719 599. This is an intelligence report dated the 12th of April, so it's just over 2 months after the first report I showed you, and I'll give you a moment to have a look at that.
Thank you.
In particular, starts by saying the campaign against Shamrock Farm and its staff continues, and at least one member of staff is known to have resigned following a home visit on Friday the 12th of March. Can you help us with how you obtained that intelligence?
No, I can't remember it.
Did you attend that home visit on Friday the 12th of March?
It's possible. I can't remember it.
Can I take it from that answer that you did attend some home visits?
Yes.
Approximately how many home visits do you recall attending?
I don't know. There were periods when there was a lot of them. There were periods when they happened very close to each other and you'd bounce on from one to the next fairly quickly. So I'd have no idea.
And were they all in relation to the Shamrock Farm campaign, or did you participate in the use of that tactic in other campaigns as well?
No, other campaigns as well.
Do you have any reason to doubt the accuracy of the information that you had provided that somebody had resigned following a home visit?
No.
Can we take that down? Tab C64, sir. MPS 0002023. This is a prospective report about a planned home visit on the 6th of May. It says the target address isn't known, but likely to be one of those that had previously been visited. 12 to 15 activists predicted in the late evening. If the opportunity arises, then damage will be caused to the premises. How did you obtain that intelligence?
I can't remember it particularly, but again, by association.
And was the withholding of the target address until the last minute a common security precaution taken by your targets?
I think it's more that it hadn't been decided. So there's a number of options.
Would they be open within the group as to which home was going to be visited, or would that be decided at the last minute?
It would be decided at the last minute anyway, depending on the situation on the ground.
For what reason?
In this case, because it said it's not known.
But for what reason would it be left to the last minute?
Police around. Does it look like there's anyone there anyway? Because obviously there's no point if not.
Was the objective to go to premises where the police were not present?
Yes.
And why was that?
So that you could conduct the home visit.
We heard evidence yesterday that at this point in time, home visits were at least capable of being conducted in a lawful manner. Is that right?
I don't know about lawful. The objective was to frighten the people there, or their associates, to make them in turn stop doing what they were doing, or drop the links they had to whichever company it was, or depending on the association.
What is the basis for your saying that the intention was to frighten as opposed to make a point and disagree with what that person was doing by way of legitimate protest?
I suppose that's how I remember it. But it was, balaclavas on and running around and shouting at best. Just intimidatory.
And why were balaclavas worn?
Just for identification, non-identification purposes.
Purely for that or for intimidation?
They obviously help with the intimidation anyway.
That might be a slightly separate point. You could wear a balaclava to protect your identity and it have the impact on the homeowner of being intimidating, separate from wearing it for the purpose of intimidating somebody. Do you see the difference?
I do, yes.
Can you help us with why the balaclavas were worn?
I can't remember it being particularly discussed as this will help it become more intimidatory. But it would have been, I think that was self-evident.
You said that running around in balaclavas might be at best. From your own personal experience of attending home visits, what did at worst involve?
Somebody getting hurt, I suppose.
Who did you witness getting hurt? No names.
No, I mean, the one I can remember was actually not the target address. It was a neighbour who came out to try and intervene. Yeah.
And what happened?
He was assaulted very quickly.
How?
pushed, kicked. I think that was about it.
Were you ever present at any home visits where criminal damage was occasioned to the home of the person being protested against?
Certainly at least once that I can remember, yes.
And what did you witness?
That was windows being broken. That was after the police had actually got there as well, which is why I didn't remember it.
Can we now, having looked at this prospective report, take that down and have up C78, sir, MPS 0002420. This is the event itself. Campaigners have been delighted by the success of the visits to the home addresses of Shamrock employees. By their calculation, at least 4 members of staff have resigned thus far, and only 1 is believed to have been replaced. No doubt that the visits will continue to take place in the hope of the remaining staff will capitulate. Was it spoken about in those terms within your group?
Yes, I think that's fair. I mean, different words, I would imagine, but in terms of, yeah, delighted by, certainly.
And the bottom, to prevent any advance warnings, the target for the night is chosen at random at the last moment. Therefore, all the staff addresses should be considered at risk at the above times. In those circumstances, how does your intelligence help with policing?
Because it's Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday after 8 p.m. and a limited number of addresses. I think at this stage it says employees, so there's a limited number of targets.
So you are able to assist to some extent to inform local police?
That they've got the necessary reserves and so on available, yeah.
But you don't have the access to give precise targeting data?
That's how I read that, yeah.
Can we take that down, please, and look at tab C88, sir, 0002570. This is a report dated the 1st of November about events on the 31st of October 1999. I'll give you a moment to refresh your memory from this report.
Can I have the next page? Thank you.
Can we start at the end? And there's reference to one of the subjects of a home visit being in a state of near hysteria. How were you able to obtain that intelligence?
I don't know, it would have been told to me by one of my associates, but I don't know how they got it.
This report describes essentially that despite such intelligence as you were able to provide, the activists being able to dodge police and to make not 1 but 2 home visits on a single occasion. Does it follow that we can conclude that your intelligence was of some but limited value in preventing home visits?
I think you can conclude that for this occasion. It's obviously more useful for the next occasion.
Were you present on the occasion of the 31st of October 1999?
I can't remember it particularly, but I assume so.
I was going to ask, but do say if you can't help us. If you can help us with the manner in which those visits were conducted.
I presume it's the same manner that I sort of described to you a moment ago. But again, I can't remember that one particularly to single it out.
And you are quite right, we're coming up to the next example where you do provide intelligence that appears to have made a difference. Can we have C91 up, please? 0002749. This is moving on to the 16th of December. And there's prospective intelligence. And again, it's not entirely specific, is it?
No.
But if we go to C93, sir, MPS 0002763. And you can refresh your memory from that, but essentially this is a report to the effect that an overt police presence thwarts home visits.
Okay. So,
Are you able to help us as to whether in fact it was your intelligence which enabled the police to be ahead of the protesters on this occasion?
again, I don't remember this occasion particularly. I can pick up from one of the earlier ones, except the sort of intelligence that would be useful would be the meeting point, because if police can pick up a SAB van or whatever from a meeting point, they can go wherever. There's no then great risk to me having identified an address.
We can take that down now, please. We know that in fact what happens is the closure of Shamrock Farm was ultimately announced, and in that respect the objective of the campaign was realised. Whether or not it was because of the campaigning may be a separate question, but
Yep.
those you were mixing with, what was their reaction when Shamrock Farm announced it was going to close?
I'm sure very pleased, genuinely very pleased.
Now, as to the cause, there's some suggestion it may have been because of financial improprieties at Shamrock Farm, but there's another report I'd like to take you to. C100, sir, 0003412. It's a report dated the 25th of May of 2000. I'll give you a moment to read that. It's attributed to you as this intelligence, and it says a person whose name we're protecting has discovered through an employee of the firm that the arson on Privacy's garage was the final straw that led to the closure of the premises. This admission will no doubt be used to justify the validity to others of employing such extreme measures. Are you able to help us with any information about the arson on someone whose name we are protecting's garage? Do you know whether or not that in fact occurred?
I assume so. I can't remember it particularly.
Don't name any names in this answer, but I assume if you had known who did it or suspected who did it, you would have said so in your reporting.
Yes.
So can we take it that you're at least distant enough from events that you had no idea who did it, if it in fact occurred?
With the slight caveat it might just not be recorded on this particular report and have gone elsewhere on a different report.
This admission will no doubt be used to justify the validity to others of employing such extreme measures. Is that based on your supposition, or is that based on what you have heard people saying?
Both, I suspect.
If we can take that down, please. Could we have up, please, from Volume 1, tab B35, sir, MPS 0526730. Moving from home visits to the Police Act of 1997. Thank you. Could we have page 3, please? And if you could expand that. This is the SDS Code of Practice. I'm interested in paragraph 2.5. Sorry. 2.5, please. That's about journalistic and legal professionally privileged material at the top, and then at the bottom it says, the foregoing notwithstanding any action which involves trespass to property will only be authorised in accordance with Part 111 of the Police Act 1997. Now, that came into force. If we go to the front of the document, please, I can show you what the document is. As I say, the SDS Code of Practice. The Police Act came into force, this provision, on the 22nd of February 1999. Can you help us? Were you shown or given this Code of Practice whilst you were deployed?
I've got no memory of it.
Were you told about any change in procedure for trespassing onto property in your undercover identity?
No, I can't remember.
Were you ever given any instruction about the circumstances in which you could lawfully enter somebody else's premises as an undercover police officer?
Not that I can remember.
Can you ever remember any change in the procedure?
No, I can't really remember a procedure.
Would it be fair to conclude that although the paperwork referred to the change in the law, the practice on the ground did not change?
I certainly remember no change at all.
Can we take that down, please? Can we go, sir, to file 4, tab C66, MPS-302072. This is a report dated, of the intelligence was dated the 11th of May 1999, attributed to you. Hunt Saboteur and AR activist Privacy is holding meetings with solicitors to discuss taking action against Sussex Constabulary following his arrest in Brighton on the 24th of April at the Shamrock Farm March. Privacy is collating video, photographic and medical evidence to support his case. Why did you report on this potential civil litigation?
Because I reported everything I came across.
Was there any management reaction
Not that I
to
can recall.
reporting on this?
I mean, I can't remember it particularly anyway, but I can't recall any kind of reaction like that.
And presumably, if management had thought it was an appropriate subject on which to report, we would not be looking at a report
Presumably.
now. You, if we can take that down now, please, and have up from B42, sir, in volume 1, MPS 0002618. This is an injury report about you being placed on sick on the 18th of November 1999 with a slip disc. Can you recall slipping a disc in the course of your duties on the 18th of November 1999?
I mean, I know I did. I can't remember the when and where particularly, but yes.
And was the impact of that injury such that you had to really start to be careful about the extent to which you got involved actively in hunt sabotage with your target group?
Not that I can remember particularly. I think it certainly slowed me.
Can we take that down, please? Can we have up, sir, from Volume 1, Tab B43, MPS 0018359. This is the SDS Undercover Operations Code of Practice. I'm going to ask you in a moment, but we'll go to a specific paragraph first, whether you recall being given this or shown it. Could we look at page 2 at paragraph 1.10, please? This is about collateral intrusion. Do you recall being shown this code of practice, which we understand is dated the 7th of January 2000?
I don't know.
Do you recall being told about it?
Not specifically. No.
The paragraph about collateral intrusion reads, before authorising any undercover operations, authorising officers will take into account the risk of intrusion into privacy of persons other than the specific target of the undercover operation, brackets, collateral intrusion. Measures will be taken wherever practicable to avoid collateral intrusion. Was the concept of collateral intrusion ever discussed with you by your managers?
I've certainly heard the term since. I don't recall hearing it as a term back then. In terms of the concept, no, I don't think so.
Was there any ever discussion between you and your managers about measures to be taken where practicable to avoid collateral intrusion?
None that I can recall. I mean, a near impossible task.
You say it's a near impossible task. There was no need for you to embark upon sexual relationships
That's
with your
yeah,
targets.
above and beyond that, but in terms of just normal collateral intrusion.
There was no need to report prurient information about people's private lives.
Correct.
But as I understand your evidence, you're saying nobody ever told you not to do that.
I recall no conversation about collateral intrusion.
Was there in practice a change in the way that you operated after the 7th of January 2000?
No, I don't think so.
Are you aware of any of your colleagues, no names please, are you aware of any of your colleagues changing the way they operated after the 7th of January 2000?
No.
Was there any discussion of any of this in the meetings that you were going to at the Safe House with your colleagues?
I certainly can't remember any. I can't say with absolute authority there wasn't.
Could we go to page 4, please? To paragraph 3.2, this is under the heading Authorisation of Undercover Operations Deployment of Officers. Before giving authorisations for the deployment of undercover officers, the authorising officer must be satisfied that the deployment of undercover officers is likely to be of value in connection with national security, in the prevention or detection of serious crime, in the maintenance of public order or community safety, or in the case of a significant public interest. The desired result of the deployment cannot reasonably be achieved by other means. The risk of collateral intrusion have been properly considered. And then if we go to page 5, paragraph 4.1 at the bottom, duration of authorisations. Written authorisations last for a maximum of 3 months, beginning with the day on which they took effect and may be renewed at intervals of not longer than 3 months. Was your authorisation as an undercover police officer ever discussed with you in connection with this policy?
No, I don't think so.
Were you told that your authorisations were being reviewed?
No.
Was there any ever discussion with you as to whether or not the preconditions for authorisation had been met?
No.
Was there any ever discussion with you as to whether those preconditions continued to apply?
No.
Maybe more a question for your managers, but I'll ask you in case you can shed any light on it. But if they did not speak to you, how could they form a view as to whether your deployment met the preconditions that we have just looked at?
I think they'd be basing it on the intelligence I was providing. So I'd do that to the handler, and then the handler was presumably part of this process.
Talking to you would have been much better, wouldn't it?
I don't know, I suppose it would lack I'd have certainly lacked objectivity. So
If you'd been honest with your managers, at least they would have known what the extent of the collateral intrusion was, wouldn't they?
that's true, certainly.
Could we take that document down now, please? Could we go up to B46, MPS 0526895? This is an authorisation dated the 12th of April 2000. It's for a number of officers. If we go to page 5, please. And if we could have the section at the bottom, Operation Magenta Triangle, expanded. This is you. And if we look at the grounds for deployment, the actions of animal rights extremists over recent years are well documented and encompass public order threat, serious damage to property and physical harm to targeted individuals. Government personnel and institutions are continually under threat, as are many high-profile public figures, including the royal family. Public order and serious crime. Intelligence on these matters would be unlikely to be achieved by other means. Participation in minor criminal acts may be required in order for the undercover officer to maintain credibility amongst leading ALF activists. Were you ever shown this?
No.
And, for example, targeting of high-profile public figures, including the royal family, doesn't form any part of your reporting, does it?
I think the only relevance to the royal family was they were part of, I think it was the Quorn hunt, but my memory may be wrong on that. That was the only crossover that I can ever remember.
Thank you. Could we take that down, please? Can we move now to May Day 2000, tab B45, sir, in volume 1, MPS 0003394. This is a strategy meeting dated the 27th of January 2000. Says that you are present with Sergeant Greeny, HN 53 and HN 58. Magenta Triangle continues to maintain a close contact with L2 and L1. This has been particularly useful during the protests against Shamrock Farm and the ensuing home visits. MT's sabbing activities remain an important facet of his operation. Through this activity, he meets new wherries and maintains his credibility. although his latest injury has prevented him from becoming involved in the running around. Stopping there, is that correct about the running around?
Yeah, I should think in that period I was doing more of the driving or something. I can't particularly remember it, but yeah, it's likely.
Sabbing will remain an important area, particularly as the ground is prepared for the anti-hunt bill to be presented in Parliament. MT's group has the potential at most demonstrations to cause violence and may be involved in events surrounding the May Day. Can you help us, MT's group? Which group is that a reference to?
I presume the whole sort of fraternity of Croydon Hunt Sabs, Brixton Hunt Sabs, and all the others.
Did they attend the May Day protest in 2000? That's the protest that included the guerrilla gardening event.
I can't remember any guerrilla gardening. I think May Day, and I presume 2000 was, a huge demonstration. That we did attend, sorry.
Did you attend?
Yeah.
Did any of the people that you were mixing with and reporting on cause any violence?
I'm not completely comfortable with what caused it. It certainly took place and we're involved in.
Can you, no names for the moment, you can use ciphers if that's appropriate. Did you witness any member of your group involved in physical violence?
Yes.
Is that somebody you can refer to with a cipher?
I think that's most of us.
Don't want you to utter any names, but can you identify any individuals?
I can't really do this with complete authority. My memory is not good enough. So on this cipher list, there's L2 and L3 certainly, but there's also another one that doesn't seem to have an L number. Which sort of says relevant to, and then some document numbers. But there would have been a number of others that aren't on this list as well.
What did you witness?
Fighting with the police, throwing bits of pavement furniture, for want of a better word, so bricks and so on. It was a carnage, essentially, for a period of time in that one.
Was this violence which appeared to you to be legitimate self-defence?
No, it went beyond that on that occasion. Again, if I'm thinking of the right demonstration, which would involve two particular places on Whitehall for our group.
Is your recollection reliable enough to make a firm allegation against either L2 or L3 of any specific violent act?
No.
Did you report any of this violence and the people who were the perpetrators at the time?
Shortly afterwards, on at the time, yes.
Including particulars about individuals?
Yeah.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah.
We have not been able to find any. Why might that be?
I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of reporting that isn't in this bundle. I don't know why.
Might it be that you didn't report it because you were intelligence gathering and there was never any prospect of a prosecution?
No, I think it would have been intelligence gathering.
Can we take that down now, please? Can we have up from B47, sir, MPS 0003403? This is a file note dated the 22nd of May 2000, and it is reviewing your operation. It says that it's been discussed with you and signed by HN 58. There's a suggestion in the third paragraph that it would be difficult for you to change direction, having forged close links with active ALF types, and so you couldn't move to fluffy activities. But that's in response to your ongoing back problems. And it then goes on to say magenta triangle indicated that L1 and 2 were considering other campaigns separate from the HLS, but they had not decided on one. He agreed that he would not go subbing again, but could restrict himself to map reading or driving, although the cubbing season begins in August. What I'd like to explore with you is how much hunt sabotage, including driving or map reading, did you get involved in the 2000 to 2001 season, the 2001 to 2002 season, and the 2000, well, I think those were the last two seasons you would have been around for. Can you help us? Did you continue sabbing?
Yes, I don't think there was any drop-off particularly.
Was there a change in the role you played?
Perhaps for a period, yep.
We have very little intelligence reporting from you in this period. There is reporting about the injuries suffered by L4 and responses to that, which we'll be coming to in due course. But we do not see, as we have done to date, a stream of reporting about hunt sabotage. Why is that?
I don't know.
There is reference in the second paragraph, in view of NPOIU's ever-expanding remit, it is becoming increasingly difficult for SDS to operate effectively outside London on anything other than an occasional basis. Can you help us with what the NPOIU's ever-expanding remit was?
Not really, no. I was aware, I can't remember if I knew it as those initials or something else, but I was aware of them. But clearly there's something else going on in terms of who's responsible for what there that I wasn't really cognizant of.
Was there a feeling that you were aware of the SDS's work being encroached upon by the NPOIU?
Not that I can ever remember feeling or...
Was there a feeling that the SDS needed to do something else other than animal rights work because of the expanding remit of the NPOIU?
Again, I can't remember it as an issue.
Did you have any direct contact with the NPOIU?
No.
If we look at the bottom two paragraphs, or the bottom three paragraphs perhaps, the suggestion there from HN 58 is that you should begin looking at a withdrawal strategy with early next year as a finish date, in other words, early 2001. You are recorded as expressing some disappointment at that, and the reasons are then set out. Is it right that you were disappointed at the prospect of ending your deployment in early 2001?
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
And is that something you felt really pretty strongly about?
I suspect so, yes.
And so would it be fair to say that your cooperation with this plan was rather begrudging.
Yes, I imagine so.
Could we take that down now, please? We'll come back in due course to why that might have been at a later stage. 7th of April 2000. Could we have B50 up? MPSO 526892, page 7, please. Is that page 7? That's it. The authorisation. Page 8, there's an authorisation signature. This is Roger Pierce signing in July, continuing the April authorisation. If we go to the first page of text, please. And we again see a document which is of the same format as the last one. And if we could scroll through until we get to the magenta triangle entry. Thank you. Could we have that expanded? And then if you look at that text, it is essentially the same as we saw in the April document, isn't it?
As far as I can tell, yep. Yeah.
Can I take it from your previous answers you weren't consulted about any of this paperwork and its creation?
No.
Can we take that down, please? Can we go to B52 0003952? This is again a further renewal of the 7th of April authorisation, this time dated the 15th of September 2000, as you can see from the top of the page. If we go to page 5, please, that should be, yes, your entry. Could we expand that again, please? I'll give you a moment to read it. Any involvement in this review?
No.
Looks as if the cut and paste function has been mastered, doesn't it?
It does look like they'd found that on the computer by then.
Thank you. Could we take that down, please? Can you remember any training or guidance when the Regulation of Investigatory Powers Act 2000 was introduced?
No.
Can you recall any discussion or any practical effects of the implementation of that Act of Parliament?
No.
Would it be fair to say within the SDS everything continued just as it had always?
I think probably yes, but while there was no specific guidance whether the way management managed might have changed.
Save that some paperwork was generated.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Can we move now, please, to Ellie? You met Ellie through her best friend, Wendy, didn't you?
Yes.
Wendy was an animal rights activist.
Yeah.
Ellie was not.
No.
She was, though, an animal lover,
Yes.
and she volunteered and later worked at an animal hospital.
Yep.
Did you first meet her when you came to do some work at the animal hospital?
Yes.
And at that time, were you still in the sexual relationship with Sarah?
I can't remember.
Did there come a time when you asked Wendy to set Ellie up with you?
Not that I can remember, but
Do you deny doing so?
no, I accepted it in her. No, I didn't.
And you started going out with Ellie?
Correct.
That was initiated by you.
Yes.
And was that around early 2001?
I say I can't remember the dates, but if that's what is in the statement, then I'm perfectly happy to accept it.
It's Ellie's understanding.
Then that's fine.
You saw one another by going out on dates approximately once or twice per week.
Yeah, that's fair.
Why did you start a sexual relationship with Ellie?
I don't know that I did start a sexual relationship with Ellie. I think I started a relationship that became sexual, which isn't quite the same thing.
Why did you start an intimate relationship with Ellie?
I liked her. I liked her.
So again, your own sexual gratification.
In amongst the other parts of like, yes.
Certainly wasn't needed for operational purposes, was it?
Absolutely not.
And it was certainly completely wrong.
Yes.
Did you use your relationship with Ellie to report upon and gather information about Wendy?
Not that I can ever remember doing, no.
Was that any part of your purpose in forming an intimate relationship with Ellie?
No, there was no operational gain whatsoever.
It did involve you staying at Wendy's home, though, didn't it?
It did.
Because that's where Ellie was living.
Exactly.
Did you ever search through Wendy's things while staying in that house?
I very much doubt it.
When you say you very much doubt it, I'm taking from that you're not ruling it out.
Not completely, but as near completely as I possibly can. It would have to be something very specific, and I can't imagine what that would have been.
Very specific for the purposes of your deployment?
Yeah, I'd have had to been looking for something that I don't think she'd ever have had, or not at that stage anyway.
Now, as you say, the relationship did become sexual,
Yes.
and that was because you wanted it to become sexual.
Yes.
You told her that you were 33 years old, didn't you?
I can't remember what I was supposed to be then.
Do you dispute that figure?
If it's in her statement, then I'm sure that's what I said.
In fact, at the start of 2001, you were 37 years old, weren't you?
My real age, you mean?
Yes.
Yes.
She was 21.
Yes.
And you knew that.
Yes.
For a 37-year-old serving police officer undercover to initiate a sexual relationship with a 21-year-old woman is an aggravating feature of your deception of her, isn't it?
Yes.
Was there a time when you later said you were 36?
I'm sure I would have said whatever my date of birth as James Straven.
And claimed that you'd made a mistake whilst talking to Sarah?
Yeah, I don't remember that conversation. So I don't know where it came from or whatever.
Might that have given Ellie the impression that you were coming clean about not being 33 because you were in fact 36, when in fact you were at least 37.
Conceivably, yes. I don't recall that at all.
Very conscious deception of Ellie as to your real age.
Yes, it was all a deception.
You knew that Ellie had suffered at the hands of the man who had been her boss at the animal sanctuary and at times also her landlord.
I read that, I can't remember it.
He had sexually harassed her, pestering her for sex.
Again, I read that in the statement, I think. I can't remember it.
Do you deny knowing of that at the time?
I don't deny it, I just can't remember it.
She did leave the job at the animal sanctuary, didn't she?
Yes.
Can we assume you knew why at the time?
It would be an assumption, I don't know.
When she left that job, she was a young woman who left home, lost her job, been treated abominably by her former boss and landlord, and on her evidence had her car and the possessions within it. Do you dispute any of that?
No.
To take advantage sexually of a woman who was not only vastly younger than you, but also vulnerable, young and naive, was a further aggravating feature of your deception of Ellie, wasn't it?
I agree that it was. I'm not sure I saw her as vulnerable.
Is that because you really weren't thinking about her feelings at all?
Entirely possible.
Thinking entirely about yourself and your own sexual gratification?
Yeah, I don't like the word entirely, but I won't dispute it.
Ellie has described you as her first real love and serious boyfriend. You knew that, didn't you?
I think so.
Did you give that any thought?
No,
You should have done, shouldn't you?
absolutely.
That is another aggravating feature of this particular sexual deception, isn't it?
Yes.
She considered it a committed, monogamous relationship, didn't she?
Yes.
In fact, you had a real-life partner, didn't you?
Yep.
And if we've understood your later statements to the inquiry to be correct, another woman, Lucy, with whom you were sometimes intimate, we're calling Lucy.
Yeah, that wasn't at the same time.
You waited for her to arrange contraception before having sex, didn't you?
I can't remember that particularly. I read it and I accept it.
And you'd raised the subject.
Again, I can't remember that, but accept it.
And thereafter, you always had unprotected sex.
Not with you. So after the contraception.
Yeah, so you weren't using condoms.
Oh, I see. Sorry. Yeah, no, that's true.
And that was to do your best to ensure there was no pregnancy.
Presumably, yes.
Ellie has described that you were not all lovey-dovey. You gave each other space, and she liked that. Do you agree?
Yeah, that's fair.
Were you mirroring her? In other words, were you working out what she liked and wanted and giving her that?
Only to the extent one does that in any relationship, I think. It's not something I'm conscious of.
doing that to ensure that you continue to get the sexual gratification that you were seeking.
Again, you're reading a lot into it. I don't think that's fair.
What did determine the way you behaved towards Ellie then?
The friendship I had with her primarily.
Ellie and Sarah are quite different people, aren't they?
In some respects, yes.
How could you genuinely behave towards two very different women in different ways if you weren't mirroring them?
I don't think I did behave in different ways.
Did you tell Ellie that your ex-partner kept getting pregnant when you were trying to leave her?
I can't recall ever saying that.
She recalls you saying that. Do you
Then
deny
I don't
it?
dispute it.
Was it a ruse designed to reduce the risk further of a pregnancy?
I don't remember saying it. I don't think it was ruse. It was probably, if I did say it, a throwaway comment.
I'd like to move to Indonesia now. First of all, the genesis of the trip to Indonesia. Is it right that L4's partner was encouraging activists to go and visit L4 in Indonesia in the early autumn of 2001, following charges against L5 having been dropped?
I can't remember it particularly. I wasn't particularly close to his L4's partner. I've read it, and so it's entirely possible, probably.
You did know and were in touch with L4 though, weren't you?
Yes.
What was L4's state of mind after the prosecution against L5 failed?
He was angry.
Was he in a bad place mentally?
I think that's probably fair. He had been a very physical bloke and was much diminished, essentially.
And you did go out to see him, didn't you?
Yes.
Was that because the word was that L4's partner wanted somebody to go and see him because he was going through a bad patch?
Yeah, I can't recall it starting with her particularly. I think that was a factor, but it may well have done.
Did you give any consideration to whether it was appropriate for an undercover police officer to go and provide support to a man who was in a bad way mentally, as opposed to one of his genuine friends?
No, I think I regarded myself as a genuine friend.
But you weren't, were you?
I was an undercover police officer.
If you had addressed your mind to that question at the time, would the answer have been that he really should have been supported by a genuine friend and not by you?
I don't know.
Why wouldn't it have been?
I mean, I think you're right in terms of the reasonableness of what you just said. I just don't know that I'd have thought it like that.
Can we look at B77, so file 2, MPS 0006714? This is a file note dated the 10th of September 2001, authority to travel abroad, and it recites the attack on L4 recites the dropping of charges in the second paragraph. If we expand that second paragraph, the dropping of charges by the CPS following the imprisonment for unrelated offences of the main prosecution witness has incensed activists and caused two of their number to express a desire to kill L4's assailant. Magenta Triangle, a close friend of L4, has agreed to travel to Jakarta to seek his views. He will obviously wish to report to the activists that L4 does not countenance violence against his assailant. Is it in fact true that people were expressing a desire to kill L5?
Yes.
Please don't utter any names, but are you able to identify them?
L2, L3. I can't remember whether L1 was there at that stage. And again, the other one that hasn't got an L number.
So how many people are you identifying in total?
3 with a possible. So 4.
So L2, L1, L2, L3 and one other person. Could you...
No. So L1's the possible. L2, L3. And then the one other person.
Could you write down the name of that one other person, please?
Thank you.
Thank you. Could you show the chairman, please? Oh, yeah. Can you help us? Are we talking about a single conversation at which everyone is present, or are we talking about more than one conversation?
No, we're talking about a series of conversations over time.
Can you start with the first one that you can recall in time and tell us who was involved, where and when it took place?
No, I don't think I can be that specific. I think we're talking about a series of conversations.
Can you help us generally with where these conversations took place?
On or near their home, probably near.
Can you help us as to whether the people present varied between conversations or whether it was always the same people?
No, it would have varied. And that's why I'm not sure about L1.
Is it your evidence that at every one of these conversations the desire to kill L5 was expressed?
Yeah, I think that puts it very boldly when it's a series of conversations, it's emotional reactions, it's a mix of things.
Can you explain to us then the sort of terms in which things were expressed?
I can't remember anything specific. That's what I took away.
Was this hot air? People who were understandably angry? Or was it serious?
I believe where those were involved, it was serious.
And what made you come to that conclusion?
I'd known them for some time at that point. They were serious.
Was there anything about the way in which they said what they were saying, or the specifics that they were going into, that made you think this was more than hot air?
I can't remember a conversation well enough to say anything specific.
These are people you have described as being involved in essentially minor criminality to advance the cause of animal liberation, aren't they?
Yes.
Murder is an entirely different ballgame, isn't it?
It is.
What made you think that any of these four people was capable of that?
Because what you describe as minor, they had an ability, a desire to visit real harm on people and to take satisfaction from it. And people that weren't directly connected and certainly not as personally.
Can you, we'll take them one at a time, we'll start with L1. Can you give the inquiry an example of L1 inflicting physical harm on another human being and taking satisfaction from doing that?
On a specific day, date, time, place? No. I was with him on numerous occasions. That's what I took away.
What's the most specific recollection you have that would support the assertion that you have just made?
Home visits, I think. Home visits around some of the campaigns. You've mentioned one. But
And what physical violence did L1 visit on another human being that you witnessed on a home visit?
he would have hit people, kicked them.
Who?
Whoever it was that was being assaulted.
The homeowner?
Could be, if they were exposed, if they came out.
How many times did you witness L1 being violent in this way?
I don't know.
Why don't we have any reporting of that?
I don't know.
L2?
More so.
What is the most specific recollection you have got of L2 inflicting harm on another human being?
I can't go more specific. I can only say he did more of that, organised it, relished it more than anyone, I would suggest.
More of what?
Physical harm.
And you're not able to give me a single specific example.
It's a lot of years later, and it was over a long period of time.
Can you help us as to sort of thing you are asserting L2 did?
Kicking people on the ground, trying to kick their head as opposed to their body, relishing it. And that's more the point. Lots of people got involved in confrontations.
And then what made you think he was relishing doing that?
I saw him. He loved it.
What did you see that made you conclude he loved it?
Expression, laughter, level of high afterwards.
L3?
More like L1. So, same sort of thing.
Are you saying that you had witnessed L3?
Certainly, yeah.
I haven't quite finished the question.
Sorry.
Commit acts of physical violence against another human being.
Yeah.
What is your most specific recollection of that?
Again, I can't go any more specific than with the others.
What sort of level of severity are you asserting?
That would depend on the confrontation, more so than with L2. But he was happily physically violent. Not happily. He was comfortable with physical violence.
Well, there's quite a difference, isn't there? Can you help us with what evidence you can tell us about which would support the proposition that he enjoyed violence?
No, I think I'm saying that about L2 in the actual enjoyment. I think comfortable is the better word for L3.
What evidence can you give this inquiry that might support that assertion?
Just the years of experience knowing him, doing those sorts of things with him.
The fourth person,
Yes.
again, what did you see that fourth person doing by way of physical harm to other human beings?
Routine violence, not restricted to hunt sabbing and actions particularly. You showed me a report earlier, for example, relating to, so I can't remember if the town, I think the town was shown, so I can say that.
Is this the Aylesbury?
No, South London, the fascist report.
Yes.
So that one would have been him. He would, anything like that.
What's the most specific violent act you can tell us about that you witnessed personally?
I think that would be spontaneous ones. So out drinking, somebody doing something he didn't approve of, and it would become a pile-up.
We don't see in your reporting any specific reports describing that person doing that sort of thing, do we?
No, and I don't know why. And I don't know why he doesn't feature in a lot of the reporting that's actually got this far.
Going back to the paragraph that's expanded on the screen, the dropping of charges by the CPS following the imprisonment for unrelated offences of the main prosecution witness has incensed activists and caused 2 of their number to express a desire to kill L4's assailant. Why has 2 in a document generated in 2001 become 4 in your evidence before the inquiry today?
I think it's a large number. I don't think that's accurate. I assume that this report was referring to those 2, so the others wouldn't be relevant to it.
To which 2?
I'm guessing this is L2, L3.
Who suggested that you travelled to Jakarta to seek L5's views?
I can't remember.
Can you help us with whether it was you?
No, I can't remember.
Can you help us with how it came to be you who went?
No. I certainly said yes.
Was the reality that in fact you were going to see L4 and support him because he was in a bad way and his partner wanted someone to go and see him?
I don't remember the partner being involved particularly.
And was a reason why you were very keen to go was because it would be a nice holiday to an exotic part of the world paid for by the taxpayer?
I can't dispute that might have entered into my thinking, but I can't remember it as such.
When was it decided that Ellie would come with you?
I can't remember.
Was it before or after you were instructed by your managers not to go?
I can't remember. I imagine it was before.
Is it right that you asked Ellie to come with you?
I suspect so, yes.
Why did you ask Ellie to go with you?
Because I thought she might want to come.
Because you were in a sexual relationship with her at the time,
Yes.
and this would have been a very enjoyable holiday for the two of you to go on as a couple.
Indeed.
If the reality was you were going to Indonesia to see whether or not L5 approved of a plot to kill,
L4.
L4 approved of a plot to kill L5, you wouldn't have taken a young, naive, non-activist animal lover with you, would you?
She certainly wouldn't have been present at that conversation.
Wouldn't there have been a risk, even if you'd done your best to have any such conversation held privately, that she might find out?
I think it would have been perfectly possible to have that private conversation.
Did your managers know that Ellie was going on this trip?
No, they didn't know about her at all.
And that was deliberate concealment on your part,
It was.
because you were behaving very badly indeed.
Just so.
So would this be an appropriate moment for our
Certainly.
mid-afternoon break?
Right, we'll break for quarter to an hour.
Mr. Thomson, we were talking about plans for the trip to Indonesia. Those plans ran into a hiatus when the Al-Qaeda atrocities of the 11th of September took place, didn't they? And your managers took the view that you should not go to Indonesia so soon after those atrocities because of the uncertainties and the tensions. Is that right?
Yep,
And it is right, there were tensions in Indonesia.
absolutely. Yep.
You went anyway.
Yes.
We'll come later on to your passports, that essentially you subsequently removed evidence of your... You had more than one passport, so you were able to get one stamped and so on. I want to talk at this stage about the funding of the tickets. Did L4's partner offer to pay for or to contribute to the expenses of that trip in any way?
No.
Are you sure?
Well, certainly not to me, when it was me that was going.
Did you accept any money from her, even if only indirectly?
No.
Did you accept any money from any other activist?
No.
Could we have up, please, MPS 306850, so it's volume 2, tab 78. This is a memorandum dated the 24th of September 2001 from DCI Dell, who was by then in charge of the SDS, wasn't he?
Yes.
To an HEO at something FRM. On the 11th of September 2001, DCS Black authorised DCI Dell and DS Thomson escort to travel to Indonesia, copy authority attached. Following the recent terrorist incidents in the USA, travel was first postponed and then on the 20th of September cancelled. DCI Dell had not yet asked DPCS4 to obtain flight tickets, but DS Thomson had, as instructed, obtained his own tickets direct. If I just stop there. Is it correct that you obtained your own tickets direct?
Yes, I assume so.
He has returned them to his travel agent for partial refund. Is that true?
I don't know. I might have returned those tickets and got some other ones, but I can't remember exactly how that worked.
Proportion not yet determined, and has claimed reimbursement from DPCS4 on Form 290, copy attached. Is it right that you claimed reimbursement?
Yes, by the look of it.
Can you help us with, did you claim for a reimbursement and actually go on to use the tickets?
No, I don't think that's what happened.
You don't think?
I don't think. I can't remember it particularly.
Are you permitting that it's something you might have done?
No, I mean, I can see myself putting those tickets in, claiming reimbursement, and then using that money for tickets that I didn't tell them about.
Well, if you get the reimbursement, surely that's reimbursing money you've spent on the tickets in the first place,
Yeah,
to cover your tracks.
yes.
Who paid for your tickets ultimately?
I did.
With what funds?
My own.
When you say your own, could you be specific, please?
No, I don't think I could. It would be my money from somewhere.
From your real life personal accounts in your real name?
Possibly. I mean, I might have moved money from there or taken money from a hole in the wall or whatever it was. It could easily have come from there or from several places. I don't know.
What other places might it have come from?
The James Straven account.
And how would there be money in the James Straven account sufficient to pay for an airfare to Indonesia?
I would have needed to top it up.
From where?
My own money.
Any other potential sources of funds?
No.
Who paid for Ellie's airfare?
I think I did.
With what funds?
My own.
Who paid for Ellie's accommodation?
Again, I think I did, or most of it.
You asserted operational security to DCS Black when you were caught.
Mm-hmm.
There would have been no problem, though, would there, with telling activists in the wake of 9/11 that you wanted to postpone or cancel your trip to see L4?
I genuinely don't think that occurred to me. I don't think I ever thought, although as you say now it's perfectly reasonable that it was, the disruption and tension over there. I don't think that ever crossed my mind.
And in fact, ultimately L4 had to leave Indonesia himself, didn't he?
He did.
Was the reality you were absolutely set on going on a very nice holiday with Ellie to an exotic part of the world?
The reality was I was absolutely set on going. I think that the rest is only part of it.
And what's the rest of it?
I wanted to go and see L4,
For what purpose?
partly as a friend, partly to discuss what we needed to discuss.
But the proposition that you had to go for operational security reasons simply doesn't stand up, does it?
No, but I don't think I accepted that myself. I mean, it certainly doesn't make sense in the wider context.
You went to Raffles in Singapore, didn't you, on the way home?
Yes.
Could we have up, please, UCPI 5038286? This is a photograph, if we could blow up the top half of the page. This is you, and we've had to protect her anonymity, redact Ellie's image, but this is you and Ellie at Raffles in Singapore on that trip, isn't it?
I believe so.
Why were you so keen to go to Raffles?
I think just because we were in Singapore.
Living the high life.
Passing through.
It's an extremely luxurious hotel, isn't it?
Yes, we didn't stay long.
This was a very pleasurable trip for you, wasn't it?
That bit was, but that is a cocktail.
And if we take that down and have up 38287, please. we could have the image, please. Thank you. This is a photograph of you taken by Ellie, also in Singapore, isn't it?
I believe so.
Being tourists.
Yeah.
And lovers. Was there any ever talk about raffles in the SDS office?
Not that I'm aware of.
You say this bit of the trip was pleasurable. Can I ask now about what happened in Indonesia? And in particular, did you sightsee?
Yes.
Was that pleasurable?
Yes.
Did you go and see L4?
Yeah. We were staying with L4.
What did you speak to L4 about?
Everything, including what was happening in the UK.
Can you be a little bit more specific by what you mean when you say everything?
We were staying with him, so we had lots of conversations, including his health, how he was feeling, and how he was feeling about the case in the UK.
The case that was no more.
Or the case that was no more, yeah.
And what did L4 tell you about that?
I remember him being sort of cynically resigned, much less engaged about it than I thought he would be. Just tired, really.
No desire to murder anybody.
No.
But you didn't report that because you weren't supposed
Because
to
I
be
wasn't
there.
supposed to be there. Mhm.
Was there any risk whilst you were in Indonesia?
Risk
Risk
of...
to you?
No, I don't think so.
Do you have quite a high tolerance for risk?
I suppose so.
Is there any risk to Ellie?
Not that I was aware of at the time. Again, I don't think I'd made any reasonable assessment of that, as I would now.
Approach from another angle. Your managers had, and your managers had assessed it was too risky to go,
Correct.
and yet you still took Ellie
Yes.
without any regard for such risk as you might be exposing her to.
Yep.
That was selfish, wasn't it?
Yes.
We've seen a couple of the photographs that she took of you. Is it right that you offered to get her photographs developed?
I read that. I can't remember that at all.
Is it right that you presented her with a collage that you'd made from his photographs?
Again, I read it. I can't remember that at all. I don't dispute it, sorry.
You presumably did that to airbrush your presence out of any documentary record.
Perhaps. Again, I can't remember it.
Did you buy a laptop in Singapore?
Not that I can remember, but I might have done. I think it was supposed to be cheaper.
Did you show a laptop that you'd bought on this trip to your SDS colleagues when you got back?
No, I'm sure I wouldn't have done.
How did your disobedience come to be discovered then?
I think I threw a wobbly in the office and threw one of the passports at HN 50.
Can you
Yeah.
write that down?
The cipher.
The cipher, please. we can utter that. HN 53. You threw a wobbly at HN 53. Can you help us with what you mean by threw a wobbly?
Completely lost my temper, lost self-control. Yeah.
In what circumstances did you come to lose self-control?
I can't remember what started it.
And how, during the course of this exchange, did you divulge that you had in fact been to Indonesia?
I think by throwing, again, I'm not quite sure of the chronology, but I think of throwing the passport at his face, literally.
And why did you do that?
I've absolutely no idea.
Are you sure you can't tell us anything about the build-up to throwing the passport at your detective inspector?
Somewhere in here, I think there's, when we're doing the documents, that the date will come up and that would give me an indication where it was in the chronology, but it was all coming on top anyway.
Sorry, what do you mean by it was all coming on top?
I mean all of my transgressions and everything else.
This was the first discovery that management made.
Yeah, I think so.
So how could all of your transgressions be coming on top if this was the first one to come out?
Again, I'd want to see the chronology. I think they were expressing a loss of confidence in me or something like that. Something happened.
Did they suspect you of having gone to Indonesia?
I can't remember it well enough, but I assume so.
Do you know why they suspected you?
No.
Back to L4. You've told us that he wasn't in murderous mood. Is it your evidence that you told him was to the effect that some of your mutual colleagues were?
I'm sure we must have discussed that, yeah.
And what was his reaction to that?
I think he was vaguely, again, I'm trying to remember, but I think he was vaguely pleased about the degree of friendship that suggested, but no more than that.
But not in favour of murder?
No, I can remember him being just quite indifferent to things generally at that point.
Did you do anything to steer the conversation in one direction or another on the question whether L5 should be murdered?
No, I don't think so.
We looked at a document just before the break in which your managers assumed that naturally you'd try and talk him out of any murderous intent. Mm-hmm. Could you have done that if he was indifferent?
It didn't come up because he wasn't in favour anyway. He was already indifferent.
Sorry, there's a difference between indifferent and not in favour. Which was it?
I think largely indifferent.
So if he was indifferent, presumably it wouldn't have been very difficult for you to wade into the debate and persuade him that was not a good idea.
I don't think there was even a debate happening. He was, so I could take that back perfectly happily anyway.
Well, taking back indifference is very different from taking back an objection, isn't it?
I suppose so, yeah. I mean, it's...
You suppose so, isn't that the core of what you might do for the public good and for L5's good if there really was a plot to murder him.
And for L4s.
But why didn't you do that then?
I think I probably did.
Skipping out of the chronology a little bit, you asked Ellie for L4's address in 2006 is her evidence. Did you do that?
I don't remember doing it. I don't dispute doing it.
Why did you ask for L4's address in 2006?
Probably because I'd asked after him, you should get in touch, give me his address. No more than that.
Did you do anything with that address?
No.
Did you contact L4?
No.
Did you pass on his address to police sources?
No.
All a pretense then,
Yep.
for the purposes of continuing your relationship with Ellie?
Part of it, certainly.
Coming back to that relationship, after you'd been together for about 10 months in approximately January 2002, is it right that you said to her that you might need to move to the United States because your ex-wife and children were moving there?
Yeah, I can't remember the dates exactly, but I certainly said that.
And then about a month later you had to tell her that you were going to move sooner than you'd thought.
That would certainly have been the case.
Although she didn't know it, what was going on behind the scenes is your misconduct
Exactly.
was coming out to management in significant volumes, and they were very keen to get you out of your deployment, weren't they?
That's correct.
You continued to see Ellie and to maintain the sexual relationship right up until you left.
Yes.
And the way in which you parted was such there was no ending of the relationship as such, was there?
No, I don't remember.
Her evidence is that she still had strong feelings for you. First of all, do you accept that?
Yes, I do.
And was it obvious?
I certainly accept it. The degree of those feelings, yeah.
In what were your final parting moments like before you purport to leave for the United States of America?
Sad.
On her part?
On both our parts.
And how did she manifest that sadness, to the best of your recollection?
She said something like, "That's not the best news I've ever had," or something like that.
When you're actually going, at the moment of departure, your last contact before leaving?
Yeah, no, I'm not sure. I remember her sort of saying that, but that's a snapshot.
Is it right that you gave her a gift of a second motorbike course?
I don't remember it, but I read it and I don't dispute it.
With a poem?
Again, don't dispute that.
And a hint that you could meet up and tour in Italy or France?
A hint, yes.
She's described being devastated when you left and missing you. Do you accept that?
I do.
And was it clear to you at the time?
Certainly not the degree of that, but obviously it is now.
And to what degree was it apparent to you at the time?
It was a genuine relationship that was ending. It was sad.
Not really ending, was it?
I don't think I knew that at the time.
Well, why were you hinting that you could meet up on a tour in Italy or France?
Because we talked about that's what you do on a motorbike. That's the sort of freedom it offers.
You are an undercover police officer.
I was.
Finishing, this is at 2002, finishing your deployment, teeing up the ground for you to stay in contact with Ellie, isn't it?
I think there's an element of that, certainly.
Because that is what you did, isn't it?
Yes.
It was deliberate, wasn't it?
I don't know at what point it was planned, intended, just some vague hope. I don't know.
You didn't want your deployment to end, did you?
I didn't.
And you were a man who ignored your managers when you didn't like what they had to say, and you were going to stay in touch with Ellie despite being withdrawn, weren't you?
Yes.
We'll resume later in your evidence what happened after your deployment. But now I'd like to move to Wendy, please. It's right, isn't it, that her life when you met her revolved around animals, didn't it?
That's fair, I think, yeah.
She was an active hunt saboteur.
Yes.
And she first met you when she began sabbing, I may describe it as that, in 1997.
That sounds right.
Pretty early in your deployment.
Yes.
She was 17 years old, wasn't she?
I don't know, but if that's what she was, then yeah,
Still a child.
certainly.
Did you know that at the time?
I don't think so.
Was it obvious she was, on any view, a teenager?
No, it was obviously she was young.
You sabotaged hunts together?
Yes.
You socialised with the group together?
Yes.
You volunteered at the animal hospital on worker bees days, once or twice?
I remember doing some work there with others.
And you became very close friends, didn't you?
We were certainly friends, yeah.
I might have to explore the difference between the proposition I put to you and your answer.
Understood.
You were spending your deployed life with your targets, mixing in a pretty small circle of hunt saboteurs, weren't you?
A fairly small circle, I suppose.
And you became a part of what Wendy describes as her inner social circle. Is that fair?
Yes, and that's certainly a perspective I'd agree with.
And to say that you were a close associate would be to understate the position. The reality was you were very close friends.
In which case I'll accept that.
We're not going to name the person concerned, but Wendy was going out with the man when you first met her.
Can't remember if that was already a thing, but it certainly was one fairly early.
That may not matter. The point of
No.
my question is, when that relationship ended, is it right that you became closer than you had been before?
I don't think so, no.
Are you sure about that? Because that is Wendy's evidence.
Yes, I've seen that, but that's not my recollection at all.
Wendy's evidence is that she encouraged the relationship between you and Sarah by recommending you to her as, quote, a great guy. Do you have any reason to doubt that?
Only the last bit.
She did think you were a great guy at the time, didn't she?
Wendy, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, I accept that.
Can you understand her sense of despair now that she knows that she was promoting a match between her genuine friend and a deceitful undercover police officer?
Yes, I can.
Your relationship with Sarah was well known within the social circle you were moving in, wasn't it?
I would imagine so.
It's a very small social circle. When you say imagine so, it was, wasn't it?
I think it would have been known, yeah.
There came a time, didn't there, when Wendy's mother became very ill.
Yes, I don't particularly remember that. I have read that statement.
Because when you first met Wendy, Wendy was living at home with her mum, wasn't she?
I gather so. I can't remember ever visiting her.
During Wendy's mother's illness, you were very supportive to Wendy, weren't you?
Again, I don't remember it. I accept that if I had that opportunity, I would have taken it, yes.
Don't remember the protracted course of somebody dying who's close to one of the people you're mixing with?
No.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know.
Is it because you just didn't care?
I hope not.
Her evidence is that you did things like take her hunt sabbing to get her away from what was obviously a deeply distressing and emotionally draining experience.
Okay,
Might you have done that?
I might well have done that, yes.
Why were you promoting participation in hunt sabotage in this way?
I think I was providing a lift.
As to promote your cover?
It wouldn't have hurt it.
Shouldn't you have stepped back and allowed Wendy's real friends to support and comfort her during this particularly distressing time?
In hindsight, certainly. It's a distinction I didn't make at the time. I would have said I was a real friend.
But of course you weren't, in reality, were you?
As we've said before.
Wendy recalls an incident when she was trying on a top. And she wasn't wearing a bra, and the top turned out to be quite revealing. She says that you laughed at her because she hadn't realised. Did that happen?
I've got no recollection of that, and I can't see myself doing that. But then there's lots of things I can't see myself doing that I've done.
Laughing at something vaguely sexual.
Yeah.
Well, we will come to your email correspondence with Ellie in due course. You're
Yeah.
not a man to shy away from sexual innuendo, are you?
No.
You sure you didn't do that?
No, I'm not sure. I just don't think I did.
She recalls looking round a property when she was looking to buy a property after her mother had died, taking you with her to look around the property. Did you do that?
I accept it.
She said that you made a sexually suggestive remark about a double shower.
I can't remember doing that. And again, I can't see that I'd ever made a remark like that to Wendy.
It would be in keeping with your propensity for sexual innuendo, wouldn't it?
I think that is specific to a relationship. But I know we'll come to that anyway.
It's not your evidence, is it, that you never engage in any sort of sexual frisson with Wendy?
It is my evidence I never engaged in any sort of sexual frisson with Wendy.
I'm not suggesting sexual activity, just talking about sexualized themes.
No, I don't think I ever felt that in any way.
Her evidence is that she wasn't interested in a sexual relationship with you, but she got the impression that had she been, there would have been one. Is that fair?
No, I don't think, because I don't think that was ever, just wasn't that sort of relationship at all, at any point.
Why not?
I don't know.
Wendy played a role in your getting together with Ellie, didn't she?
Yes.
And in much the same way as I asked you a question about Sarah, can you understand how upsetting it is to her now to have played a role, unwitting as it was, at your behest, to help promote the start of that relationship?
Absolutely.
Once the relationship between you and Ellie had started, you stayed overnight regularly at her house, didn't you?
Yes.
That relationship certainly wasn't a secret, was it?
No.
There's call data showing calls between you and Wendy. Is the reality there was a lot of text messaging
I would presume so at that period of time,
to arrange social meetings and that sort of thing?
for all sorts of reasons.
Would it be fair to say generally that during the course of your deployment you frequently visited places where Wendy was living?
I remember two.
You would not suggest, would you, that Wendy was any form of physical threat to you?
No.
If there was any way in which there was a threat, was it the threat of your being recognised in your real life and compromised because your ex-wife and children lived not very far away?
That's correct.
Nothing to do with anything that Wendy did?
Not personally, no.
Are you going to make any suggestion that Wendy was a violent activist?
She had a temper and she was a committed activist. I certainly don't think she ever started anything.
We've touched upon the relationship she had with a man which came to an end. Is it right that you discussed the decision to end that relationship with her?
I can't remember that discussion, but it's not impossible.
You have no business in getting involved in decisions like whether she should or should not finish with a boyfriend.
Of course not.
She can't recall you using or mentioning the name Kevin Crossland. Is it right that you would never have uttered that name to her?
I can't imagine why I would have done.
Have you got that in there? I'm going to take this opportunity now to go back to Sarah and the email that we were trying to find. This is in 2018, in the course of the inquiries and proceedings. And the inquiry inquired whether you would be prepared to speak to Sarah. The response we got back was HN16 is prepared to speak with Sarah or meet her if this might assist her in getting some of the answers she seeks. Did you meet Sarah?
No, I don't think so.
Is it right that the offer to meet was because the inquiry asked, or was there any other occasion on which you considered contacting Sarah?
No, I don't think I ever thought about contacting her.
Can I now ask you about something completely different? Firearms.
Mm-hmm.
You undertook protection duties
Yes.
before you became a member of the SDS.
Yeah.
That is before the 26th of June 1996. At any time, whilst you were undertaking those protection duties, did any principal give you a firearm?
No.
Did anyone with any connection to your protection duties ever give you a firearm?
No, I was only ever issued with a firearm.
I beg pardon?
I was only ever issued with a firearm, not given in that sense.
Can I take it your issued firearm was not the Colt 45 that was found in your vehicle in
No.
Marseille?
No.
Were you ever given a firearm by anyone?
No.
Did you ever lead, and I don't want you to identify anybody in your answer, did you ever give any of your colleagues to believe that you had been given a firearm by
No.
a principal?
No.
Did you ever say anything to any manager about wanting to keep a firearm?
No.
Is there any possible confusion that could have crept in to any conversation you had with a colleague which might have led them to think that you had a firearm?
I've obviously given some thought to that. I can't imagine what that would be.
In September of 2000, did you own a handgun?
No.
Did you have access to one?
No.
Did you own any 45 caliber live ammunition?
No.
Did you have access to any?
No.
Did you own any black powder?
No.
Did you have access to any?
So just on that last one, we used to use crow scarers. I don't know what goes in them, sort of a flash bang type thing. If that's black powder, then I had access to that.
Had you disassembled any of those
No.
to accumulate black powder?
No.
Had any of the people that you were mixing with done that?
I don't think so.
Did the position in relation to any of the series of questions about gun ammunition and black powder change between September 2000 and your arrival in Marseille on the 9th of January 2001?
No.
We know that L4 was run over on the 1st of September 2000, wasn't he?
I accept that.
Were you present when that happened?
No.
Could we have up, please, from volume 4, C106, MPS 0003867? This is a report of the 1st of September 2000. Reads, L4 was seriously injured this morning when a Land Rover belonging to the Surrey and Burstow Hunt ran him over during a confrontation between Hunt supporters and Hunt saboteurs. Others present at the event included L2, Privacy, and Privacy from Liverpool. Not surprisingly, there is great anger amongst the SABs at this incident, as it was felt to be a deliberate act. There has been immediate talk of reprisals, but no definite plan has yet been formulated. How did you get this information on the day of the attack?
I don't know when I wrote it, so it might have been calls and it might have been going to the hospital.
Who, without naming names that aren't ciphered, writing them down if they're not ciphered, who was talking of reprisals at that stage?
I can't remember who I spoke to. I think everyone. It was a truly shocking thing.
Do you mean by that
I mean, everyone was very, very angry.
the likes of Wendy?
I can't remember talking to her.
Ellie?
Definitely not,
She wasn't an activist
because
at
she
all,
was an
she?
activist.
Was that hot air then, at that stage? Just an expression of venting anger?
The latter, I don't think it's... I think hot air suggests something much more normal. It wasn't that.
But no indication that that anger would translate at that stage
No.
into action?
No.
There was a plan, though, wasn't there, to mount a response by way of demonstration and home visits?
Yes.
Could we take that down and go to C107 in volume 4, it's MPS 0003897. Sixth of September 2000. Surrey and Burstow Hunt, report attributed to you. Following the incident last week where L4 was run over and badly injured during a fracas between Hunt saboteurs and Hunt supporters, there is to be another demonstration this evening by members of the Hunt Saboteurs Association against members of the Surrey and Burstow Hunt. Was this in fact not the first response? Because this is 5
No,
days.
it wouldn't have been, and it references less violent previous encounters.
The demonstrators will meet at East Grinstead BR station at 6 p.m. and from there make home visits to a number of prominent members of the Hunt. The demonstrators are hoping to have press coverage of the actions which will consequently be less violent than previous encounters. Given the serious nature of L4's injuries, however, the 20 or so protesters are likely to be in volatile mood. This appears to be painting a picture of an angry but essentially law-abiding protest because the press are going to be there. Is that fair?
Yes, I think so.
Did you attend this protest?
I can't remember.
Going back to the immediate response, we had evidence yesterday from L3 who said that a large number of activists went down to the kennels
Yes.
shortly afterwards. His evidence was you were not present on that occasion. Is he right about that?
I think he probably is.
Why weren't you there?
I can't remember it particularly. I suspect because it was known about, the police were going to be there were likely to be arrests, and that would have been difficult. I think I was probably told not to go, but I can't remember.
Because you had been to the hospital.
I had been to the hospital, yeah.
And you were aware that things might become disorderly.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one was always going to be.
And your job was to report on public disorder, wasn't it?
It was.
And you hadn't shied away from being involved in other public disorder situations, had you?
No.
Right up to and including kicking the shield of a police officer?
No.
So why shy away on this occasion?
I think it was the likelihood of arrest, not the violence.
What did you understand from what you were told by activists in the immediate aftermath of that about what had happened?
Sorry, this one that I'm looking at,
No,
or the earlier one?
The earlier one. You can take that down now, please.
A confrontation at the kennels, some fighting. Can't really remember. I mean, I seem to think I got the impression that the Sabs had got the best of it, actually. But I don't know why I remember that.
And there'd been, according to L3, a number of arrests.
There were certainly arrests. I don't think they were all on the day.
What was their mood?
I mean, I wasn't there on the day, obviously, but the general mood then was deep, abiding anger.
Was there a sense that this protest had vented some of that anger?
I don't think so, no.
I'm not asking whether it had completely finished the saga, but that was your impression that there had been a venting of anger?
No, I don't think so. I think it was, especially, and then you've got subsequent arrests as well, I think it was almost oil on the flames. That exaggerates it too much, but no, I don't think I formed the impression there'd been any.
Were you given any sense of who had started the violence?
No, I mean, it would have been the hunt, would be what I've been told.
Can we have, please, Volume 2, B55, MPS 0004388? This is a report entitled The French Connection, and it's about a plot and to obtain a firearm and a strategy to disrupt it. It says the objective is to gain intelligence on the activities of L2 or L3 leading to their arrest or disruption without compromising the source and other long-term SDS operations. A requirement for source to give evidence in court will lead to compromise. Is it right that your manager's belief that there was a plot to obtain a firearm was the result of your telling them that?
I would presume so, yes.
No other source?
I don't know.
Were you ever told there was any other source?
No.
Would there be any other obvious source?
Not to that specific with L2 and L3. mentioned.
If we go to page 2, please. It's a minute dated the 31st of October 2000 from the DCI then in charge of the SDS, HN 58, to Commander Special Branch. And this is recommending disruption or frustration is the best course of action. You can see that at the end of the first paragraph. And it is requesting authority to proceed with your involvement in what is being called a dry run. Did that request take place after you had discussed with your managers the plot that you had told them about and how best to respond to it?
Certainly it must have been after I discussed it with my managers. I presume we'd have had some initial conversations about how to disrupt and deal. But they would have been initial, I suspect.
Can we go to page 3? And under disruption, under the bullet point disruption, this seems to be the favoured option with a possible opportunity to disrupt in France. Having discussed with MT, the theft of his vehicle with ordnance inside could be engineered. This would take the ordnance away from the conspirators and severely disrupt any future plans. The problem with this scheme is that Roger Pierce probably could not authorise it, particularly as the substantive offences are taking place in France. However, MT feels confident that he could engineer a position whereby his vehicle could be stolen. This has the advantage of getting rid of the ordnance without undue suspicion falling on MT, although there would clearly be some kind of internal investigation. MT feels confident that he could withstand any such inquiry. Internal investigation being an internal investigation amongst those you say were conspiring.
I presume so, yeah.
And is it right that ultimately the plan that was taken forward was to disrupt?
Yeah.
And that is because any other plan would have risked exposing you as an undercover officer and risked the operational security of the SDS.
Or failed, yeah.
Can we go back to page 1? Under current situation, nothing has been planned so far. The intelligence has come from a number of conversations between interested parties. Now, that intelligence come from you, as you've just said. Could you help us in the period between the 1st of September 2000, when L4 was run over, and the 31st of October, when this document is generated, what conversations had been held between which interested parties? Again, no real names, ciphers, or write it down.
I assume we're talking L2, L3 and I.
Just the three of you.
I can't say that exclusively.
Well, who else?
I don't know.
And what had passed between you and L2?
At that point, must have been the genesis of a plan, but nothing much more than that, because it says nothing has been planned so far.
Or what? Nothing had been planned. What had been said that had led to you to go to your managers?
Conversation we've already discussed about what they wanted to do, how they wanted to do it. That clearly needed reporting.
Well, we had some. I asked you some questions earlier about Indonesia in 2000, the autumn of 2001. This is the autumn of 2000.
Mm-hmm.
You've told us about some anger being expressed on the day, the 1st of September 2000, can you help us with what conversations you had with L2, L3, between then and the 31st of October 2000, which had caused you to go to your managers?
I would have been going to my managers right through. So this would be a series of conversations which would have been reported almost contemporaneously.
A series of conversations with L2 and L3, and then a series of conversations with your managers as each took place. Is that what you mean?
As near each as possible, yeah.
Did these conversations always include the three of you?
No.
Who was a party to them then? Was it you and just one of L2 and L3?
Yeah, and then obviously must have been conversations between L2 and L3.
And what
that I wasn't part
what
of.
was said to you?
All the stuff I was reporting. I'm not.
Well, can you help us with what that was? Because we don't have any written reports.
The anger, the objective, and what the plan was starting to form up with.
And the objective was?
Sorry, I was just about to say a name. To revenge against L5.
Was any particular form of revenge expressed?
Yes, but I don't think it had got to day, date, time, place.
What form of revenge was it?
That's how we got to the firearm. It was something that sent a message.
Can you be specific? Were people talking about shooting him or not?
Yes.
To hurt him or to kill him?
I don't think that was ever stated.
And what had been said about a firearm?
Can we get one, I think.
Who said that?
L2, certainly, L3, like all of them. It was part of the conversation.
When you say all of them, do you mean both of them or was somebody
Both
else
of them
involved?
and me.
What did you say then?
Said, I don't know.
You're portraying a point in time at which there was a desire to acquire a firearm but no knowledge as to how to do it. Is that right?
No certainty. I think at this point, reading that short sentence.
Did that change?
Yes.
At what point did that change?
I can't remember the date. At some point after this.
Before the 31st of October 2000, when this document was created?
I don't know. That doesn't say that.
And who first said anything which raised the prospect that a firearm could actually be obtained?
Best of my recollection, L2.
Where were you when he said that?
Can't remember.
Was L3 present?
Can't remember.
What did L2 say?
Something to the effect, I think we might be able to do this.
When I started asking you questions earlier, you weren't entirely sure that it was just the three of you.
I think when you were speaking to me earlier, we were talking about who would have wanted L5.
What I'm interested in is who is party to conversations about obtaining a firearm with a view to shooting L5.
I'm only definitely aware of those two. With a,
How sure are you that you weren't talking to somebody else about that?
there's a possibility of L1.
It's quite a big deal conspiring to either shoot or murder somebody, isn't it?
Of course.
And one would be pretty careful about who one entered into a conspiracy with to do that.
Certainly.
Is it really the case that you're not sure who was party to the conspiracy at this stage?
I only know the people I was talking to.
When was there first mention of black powder?
I can't remember.
Why was there mention of black powder?
Again, I don't know. I'm not sure what you would do with it.
Did you ever get an answer to that question?
No, I don't think so.
Did you ever ask?
I must have done. I mean, I mentioned crow scarers and things.
But ask what was going to be done with it.
Hmm.
And what was the answer?
I don't think I ever got an answer.
When did France first come into the conversation?
Probably about the time we did so after this report, when things began to firm up. Yeah, I think we have a way to do this.
Well, if we look Volume 2, sir, tab B56, 000 441. Paragraph 2. There's been widespread outrage by those within animal rights movement, none more so than L4's close friends L1, L2 and L3. At present there is a plan to obtain black powder and a gun from France through a French animal rights activist. While the target is unknown, it is very probable that the driver of the vehicle remains the most likely recipient. Magenta Triangle is well placed to report on this enterprise. Now, that comes immediately after the document we just looked at. Are you giving the impression there that L1, L2 and L3 are all involved in the conspiracy?
No, I don't think so.
But there is mention of a French animal rights activist.
Yeah.
And we saw in the last document there was already talk of jurisdictional problems with France. So France was already on the radar by the end of October.
Okay.
Does that help jog your memory?
Sorry, I've forgotten the question.
When did France first come into the picture?
Before that, then.
How?
I can't remember.
There's reference in this document to a French animal rights activist. Was there reference by any of L1, L2 or L3 to a French animal rights activist through whom a firearm and black powder could be obtained?
Yes.
Can you help us with what that was?
No.
Remember anything being said about this activist?
If there was, it would have been reported.
Did you ask any questions to try and verify whether there really was a French animal rights activist, and if so, whether it was a person who could be trusted with this risky endeavour?
I could certainly have asked about the trust.
Did you?
I can't remember.
Can you help me with whether you ever got any response?
No.
Was there anything said about the timing at this stage of when a weapon might be obtained from France?
Not if it's not in here or somewhere else.
Was there discussion of your role?
There must have been, but I was there.
And what was your role going to be?
I don't know when it was decided in terms of this chronology, but essentially the vehicle and the driving.
We, as I've said, don't have any surviving intelligence reports to cover this period in relation to this plot. Was there any discussion with your managers about whether or not this should be written up?
Not that I can remember.
Would there have been an operational security risk if reports had been put onto special branch files reporting that there were discussions between L1, L2, L3 and you about a plot to obtain a firearm from France with which to do harm to somebody, probably L5?
There would certainly, I mean, there's degrees of security and degrees of access within special branch files, or there was.
Do you mean to convey to us through that answer that there are ways of managing that type of risk,
Yeah.
and that would not have prevented it being written down?
No, I don't think so.
So forgive me for having run slightly beyond 5 o'clock, but is this a convenient time at which to stop for the day?
Certainly, there's quite a lot to cover on this topic, and we can't possibly finish it today. As you know, you are down for 4 days here. Mm-hmm. Would you be back in time to resume your evidence at 10 tomorrow, please?
Certainly.
Thank you. We'll resume at 10 tomorrow.